let's be honest for a second. Are your company's operations a smooth, well-oiled machine? Or are they kind of a tangled mess? With redundant tasks, departments that don't talk to each other, and clunky software that just refuses to cooperate. If that sounds even a little bit familiar, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to break down how to fix all that chaos with the right tech, and even more importantly, the right strategy. Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to put a name to that chaos you might be feeling every day. Then, we'll introduce the tool that's designed to fix it. We'll talk about what it can do, but then we're going to uncover the surprising human element that really makes or breaks these projects. And finally, I'm going to give you a concrete playbook that you can take right back to your team. All right, first up, the process problem. Before we can even think about solutions, we've got to be really honest about the symptoms. Let's diagnose what's actually holding our business back right now.
So I want you to just think about your own organization for a minute. Do any of these ring a bell?
So many businesses are trapped by these invisible walls. You see it right here with these departmental silos. That's where the marketing team has absolutely no idea what the sales team is promising. Or what about these rigid, old systems that feel like hitting a brick wall every time you need to make a simple change? This isn't just inefficient. It leads to real frustration. People doing the same work twice, this constant struggle to adapt, and just a total fog over how work actually gets done. So if that's the problem, what's the solution? Well, that brings us right to our next section. It is time to introduce the hero of our story, the Business Process Management System, or as we'll call it, a BPMS. But hang on, before we even get to the software, we have to talk about the philosophy behind it. Business Process Management, BPM, is really a mindset shift. It's about stopping to focus on just individual departments and instead focusing on the process, that whole flow of work from start to finish. The entire goal is to make that flow as smooth and effective as it can possibly be. And the BPMS, well, that's the engine that brings that whole philosophy to life. It's the actual software that gives you the power to map out your processes, to automate all the repetitive stuff, to monitor how things are running in real time, and then analyze it all to find ways to make it even better. Here's a great way to think about it. A BPMS is like the conductor of your business orchestra. It doesn't replace your existing software. Your accounting system, your CRM, those are your instruments. The BPMS is what tells all of them when to play and how to play together, making sure your people and your tasks are all in perfect sync. Now, what's really amazing here is the massive leap forward this technology represents. Older workflow systems were basically set in concrete. Any change meant calling in a team of programmers for a huge overhaul. Modern BPMS, though, they're like digital clay. You can model your processes visually, adapt them on the fly, and they're built from the ground up to connect all your other tools, not just ignore them. Okay, so what does all this actually mean for your business? Why is this such a game changer? Let's take a look at the payoff. The benefits are just huge. We're talking about automating complex workflows without writing a single line of code. You can boost efficiency by getting rid of bottlenecks. And for the first time, you can actually see your entire value chain from beginning to end. This kind of visibility makes you incredibly agile, ready to respond to change, and ultimately to create way more value for the people who matter most, your customers. All right, so you buy the fancy software, you plug it in, and poof, all your problems are solved, right? Not so fast. The true key to success lies somewhere else entirely. And here's the twist. This is the part where so many of these big projects go wrong. Because as powerful as a BPMS is, the technology itself is only half the story. And this quote from the research just nails it. The success or failure of your entire project doesn't hinge on the software's cool features. It hinges on how the people who have to use it every single day perceive it. So the crucial point is this one concept, perceived usefulness. And this right here is the million-dollar mistake that so many companies make. They focus on the tech, the features, the budget. But look, if your employees don't truly believe this new system helps them do their job better and makes their lives easier, they won't use it. Or worse, they'll actively fight it. And the whole project will fail no matter how great the software is. So the big question is, how do you make sure your team sees the system as a powerful ally, not just another frustrating obstacle? Let's get practical. Here is your playbook for building that all-important perceived usefulness. The research shows it really boils down to getting three things right.
Think of this as your manager's checklist. You've got to deliver outstanding service, you have to make data input flawless, and you need to make sure the system itself is absolutely rock solid. Let's break those down.
First up, service quality. And listen, this is completely non-negotiable. Users who feel well-trained and well-supported will view the system itself as being higher quality. So invest in comprehensive training. Make sure your tech support is responsive and actually helpful. When your team knows there's a safety net, their confidence just soars. Second, you have to perfect the input. We've all heard it. Garbage in, garbage out. A system is only as good as the information it runs on. If entering data is confusing or clunky, your people will get frustrated and your data will be useless. So involve your actual users in designing the forms. Make them clean, intuitive, and easy to fix if someone makes a mistake. And finally, the system has to be solid. I mean, rock solid. It has to be reliable, no crashing. It needs to be fast and responsive, and it absolutely must integrate smoothly with the tools your team already lives in every day, like their email and spreadsheets. A slow, buggy, or isolated system will be rejected every single time. And don't just take my word for it. Here is the proof. The research is crystal clear. These human factors, great service, easy input, and a rock-solid system account for a staggering 78.4% of whether your team will actually find the tool useful. It's not about the fancy bells and whistles managers think are important. It's about this. Get these three things right, and you've pretty much guaranteed your success. So let's put it all together in your final takeaway checklist. 1. Focus on quality service to build up that user confidence. 2. Perfect your input forms. Remember, good data in means good data out. 3. Prioritize system reliability and speed. A slow tool will always get rejected. And 4. Make sure the information the system gives back is accurate and genuinely helpful. Nail these 4 areas, and you're building a system your team will actually want to use. You know, in the end, it all comes down to this one question. Inefficient processes will run your business into the ground if you let them, but by taking control, by thoughtfully implementing the right tools and, crucially, focusing on your people, you can turn your processes into your single greatest competitive advantage. The choice is yours.